We got us a team one together with Calendar. On that team, we got us a Crit Queen, DEVOURS, Immense, and Lay. Gonna be the first one getting the lay of the land as an Affliction Warlock, swapping out actually Destro with his Succubus versus Haster of the bat. Silenced by Haster, getting really aggressive in the opener. Stone into Lay, definitely needs to get the dots up and running. Gonna be Casable, Trinket out of Lay, trying to see if he can blast it to Haster. PI is available for the Shadowprint Sphere on the pet, as well as the Warlock is gonna be able to go for a Shadow Crush to get the dots, but he's tossing out an Infernal in there. They're just trading pets. Here we go. Here's a Mindbender. Oh, I'll trade you that with a big old Infernal. Trying to see if he can maybe get himself recovery, as Haster does have his soul ripped out of his body, which is going to reduce some of his healing as well as damage potential for a little bit here. Big Cannonball is going to chuck down back to back, trying to go for a recovery, but while he's standing in the fissure, his healing is further reduced. Not only is his soul ripped out of his body, reduces his healing, but also those Cannonball fissures also reduce it by 50% further on. And it's going to be Lay trying to get himself a better angle versus Haster, trying to pressure him, stopping him from being able to heal himself whatsoever. Could go for the Succubus CC in order to create himself a little bit better of a control situation here, as Haster trying to find himself a bit of a setup behind the pillar. Mordecai sending him out in the open Fear, giving him no cover behind any kind of pillars. It's going to be a Shadow Crash as the wall comes out for Lay, trying to see if he can find himself just an angle. All he needs is just a good angle on Haster to be able to get his casts off. Fear to follow. Haster does get himself a bit of a breather. Big Void Torrent onto Lay. Does have survivability for this one, trying to go for a chaos, but right after, it's still taking a lot of damage from the Shadow Prince with a double bolt in him, but it's going to be double tentacles on him. Dark Pact barely keeping you alive. Shadow Word Death. Ooh. Once again, that low, I feel like it's just so difficult to find recovery, and Crit Queen is going to take a page out of Haster books while he's low, starts beaming him immediately. Haster looking for a bit of recovery right now. Gonna be CC immunity for Crit Queen. Does himself a wall as well, so he can't even be interrupted or anything. Just needs a couple of more globals out to Haster to be able to take it down fairly quickly. Haster got himself defenses, but at this point, he's just looking for recovery, just looking to survive here. VT, but he might just have to go to big disperse. Crit Queen trying to see if he can just beam him right through the disperse. Had himself the big fire breath in the ready. Could go for a big go silence before the dragon can unleash the full eruption of the fiery death. It's gonna be a deep breath for second disintegrate. Do they have a fire breath to follow? Knockback at the Haster. Lily's trying to control the Shadow Priest, not letting him stay anywhere up above on the platform. Does have himself big fire breath to follow. Massive eternity surge. Haster still survives through all of these things. Does get interrupted. Trying to go for flash shield, just fighting through the dragon. Just barrages of the disintegrates back to back to back. How are you still alive? This man just getting beamed by this dragon eternally. Doesn't at least get himself a Shadow Crash. PI available. Could maybe use a PI to get himself fast healing. Is really behind the pillar anyway, so you might as well, right? Stun onto Crit Queen with a Void Torrent. Wait, maybe turn this around on the dragon. Big damage. Crit looking for a little bit of recovery themselves. Haster finally giving a bit of a breather, but the Crit Queen using that excellent mobility in order to stay ahead of Haster. Goes in for a full Void Eruption. Does have mobility of his own here. Crit Queen under a ton of pressure as well. Definitely needs to catch a heal right now. Living Flame without wall is able to at least recover a little bit of health. Trying to see if they can maybe go for that hover as well as fast cast self-healing. Is able to recover all of that very quickly though. Disintegrate as the Shadow Crash does connect. Fire Breath as well as Eternity Surge. All those empowerment abilities are going to end up interrupting Haster. That's a big paragraph of text back there, by the way. With Crit Queen going in for a little bit of a shroud. Could go for a wall here as well. Immune to CC. Just got to make sure they're immune to interrupts as well. Haster recovering a ton of health right now. Look at Crit Queen not doing all that great health-wise, trying to go for recovery. But that Sci-Fi does not help the situation whatsoever. Does end up letting the shadows coalesce around the dragon and just ends up drowning him in the void itself. With Immense gonna be up next. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised Haster lived through all those dragons onslaught just now. I mean, just able to stay in, go for flash heals here and there. The Power Word Life was working overtime there. The VE as well. All of those defenses were doing such a good job. Barely survived it, hanging on there, and is able to turn it around versus the dragon. I guess if we ever get Nazoth coming back in this expansion, I guess, Haster, the Void would probably win. I mean, probably would be similar to what happened there. The aspects fly out. Haster just hits him with a Void Torrent or something. Couple of silences. Down you go. Silence on Immense with a Void Torrent early on. Immense needs to go for some kind of a go here. Is going to go for a grounding totem for a second, but Haster already got the pets onto Immense. They're already attacking him from the get-go with the tentacles as well as the Mindbender as well as the Sci-Fiend. So Haster already got himself pretty early pressure, pretty early opportunity versus Immense. As they're trying to go for a bit of a healing surge, Immense, Haster jumping on the other side. But looks like actually wants to maybe back up, retreat, get himself a bit of a high ground versus Immense. Maybe that could be helpful as a Shadow Priest too. Trying to go for the dots on the Immense. He's able to deny the dots in the first place. Trying to go for a VT. Doesn't end up establishing it either way. Could go for the Dark and Racial maybe. in order to remove it. Got himself big zaps to the ready, lava burst to follow, potentially big crit damage. Haster trying to see if he can maybe get himself some kind of CC stun onto Immense. Knows there's going to be more zaps and more damage. Silence right after in order to deny the Shaman any kind of damage. Knock up by Immense. Does have a Siphon attached to him. Haster got himself plenty of defenses to try to see if he can fight through his damage. It's going to be elementals getting swapped out from fire to the earth, and I think back and forth as the wall comes out onto Immense. Fear to follow. Knockback at the Haster doesn't really go flying off of the platform. Immense does maybe need to go for a Dalaran Ritual to remove all these dots at some point. Like Lassa trying to see if he can fight through the Shadow Priest. This is where the Priest goes in for a Disperse instead, trying to get himself as much as healthy as possible. Just, I guess at some point you do need to burn some of those big defensives in order to survive if you got nothing left at all. So hopefully Haster did end up planning the Disperse at a decent spot where he really needed one. Trying to get himself a Shadow Crusher to Immense. I don't think he's really able to be able to get a proper set of dots in him or anything. Definitely at some point we'll need to go for a proper DP together with a full channel of Mindful Insanity. I think that would help him out a ton. Immense unable to really get a lot of healing with that Siphon constantly beaming him down, even though he's got the totem down and everything. And Haster right now defensively he's got some stuff going back online. We'll see though. I just think Immense as a Shaman has so much burst potential without really needing big cooldowns. Really lots of short-term burst abilities that really can overpower and overwhelm somebody. I mean, just too many lava bursts with it, together with a Sky Fury can really turn the game around quickly. So hopefully Haster's defenses will be enough here. Does go to Silence with a Void Torrent. It's going to be a Dalaran Ritual for Immense to remove the dots as well as the Silence, trying to see if he can remove everything off of himself as he just cleanses his body. Going to be a Healing Surges to follow. Got himself lots of damage ready. But the question is, I guess, does Haster have the CC in order to make something happen? But it looks like Immense mostly playing defensive here. Maybe trying to see if he can collect some cooldowns together. That or lure Haster in a less than winnable position. Stun to follow, does Trinket out of this one. Haster got himself a bit of damage together with Siphon. Got himself a Fade real quickly in case there's going to be anything out of Immense. And got him rooted full and everything. That's going to be maybe an interrupt. Does Immense have an interrupt? It doesn't look like he does. Going to be grounding totem, maybe, potentially. Wait, never mind. It's just going to beam from all directions. Is this where he goes down? Haster just needs a little bit more damage. Setting to follow. Does he have himself the channel? Oh! And does end up taking down the elemental shaman. It looked like Immense was trying to figure something out, some kind of a go, but maybe just as soon as he missed that kick, that's where Haster took control, trying to play defensive, trying to find a way to run, and at that point, Haster just ended up taking the opportunity with Killanor. Yeah, Silanor? I don't even know how to say your name, but I don't even know. Silanor? I think Silanor does end up going for the execute onto Haster, taking him out of the game with X spam. Gonna be up next, unleashing everything immediately. Gonna be Trinket out of Silanor, trying to see if he can get himself a bit of a stun. Got himself a defensive in case he needs to. He made it to burn it as soon as possible. Got himself a little bit of burst, a little bit of damage, but no Enrage Regeneration out of this one. Before Dursa can even pick up or figure out what the hell is going on in the arena, X-Spam immediately jumping on him as soon as he sees him. But Dursa, he's played X-Spam before him. He's definitely got to find a way to CC him. Maybe he got himself a knockback trap with a high explosive trap to utilize it off of this platform arena. Dursa getting hit with the Fear Stormbolt. He's gonna go for a bursting shot to try to go for a knockback onto X-Spam. That's a good move, although the position was just not that great. X-Spam does end up burning a big defense right now. Dursa, not a lot of defenses available for him right now. Got himself a little bit of a wall together reflect, scatter shot. That's where Dursa is going to peel his pet back and try to go maybe for a bit of a reset. Gamma to follow, does get whirlwinded. If either your pet or you get hit with any kind of abilities while you're in the camera, both of you come out of stealth, which isn't ideal, but does at least get himself a little bit of recovery from XP. As long as you can go for some slow, some kind of CC, and just kite out exit spam, you'll be in a great spot, I think. Does end up throwing down traps on the guy. Maybe has a leap. Does have a leap to reconnect. Going to be a disengage out of Dursa, but a Stormbolt catches in place. Perfect opportunity placement to establish some damage. Got himself reflect. So this is where Dursa, if you are going to be using a freezing trap, you may want to delay it until a little bit later. And just trying to get himself recovery. I don't know if you got a camo at this point. It's like a minute CD, right? Stun from a distance, trying to go for a bit of damage, cutting out X-Spam, who at least has a pet that he can attack constantly, and a volley barraging him even though he's behind the pillar. Dursa definitely needs to find a recovery. That or needs to be very particular with the CC to just keep pelting X-Spam with aim shots, rapid fires, everything, while trying to deny him any kind of healing. But the fact that you got a pet, the fact that you got you as a hunter, he just heal off of either one of those two entities. Izzy had picked up Dursa, get it caught out. There's going to be a Stormbolt to follow. No trigger for this one. I think it just might be over. Oh my god, you're barely alive. How are you living? It's got a shot. Oh, but the blades do catch up. That is rough. That is rough. Unless you had a trinket there, I think there's absolutely nothing that could be done. Hayshu does end up picking up 3, fighting through a dragon, a warlock, as well as an elemental shaman.